What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Mr. Boat. His opponent today in the red color playing as Zeus. His name is EricBR2. The first. It's the first. He's not the second EricBR. He is the first. He is the first EricBR that has ever been around. The first Eric from Brazil. All right, the map is Tundra. Odin versus Zeus here. Little bit of backstory on these players as we get going. Wonderful. Mr. Boat. He is an ex-champion. Ex-Champions League player. He fought his way through challenges to get into Champions League, but unfortunately, due to the hiatus of Champions League, we had to reset some of the things, some of the players invited, as it were. So we'll see how things are going to go here in this game for him. He's got a mountain to climb to get back into Champions League, but he's a definitely capable player. Whether or not he is rusty or not is the big question he has to answer. Now, he is playing against an incredibly strong player in EricBR. Eric is a player who plays many, many hours of Age of Mythology and has a very, very strong understanding of Zeus. And he will tell you that he's got a strong understanding of Zeus as he's going to be trying to show us exactly how he wants to play here in this game against Mr. Boat. Zeus versus Odin, very, very interesting matchup. I'm going to say it right now. I think this matchup, while some players might think that it's Zeus favored, some players might think that it's Odin favored, some players might think that it's map dependent, I think that this map is just completely skill-based. I think that it is a skill-based matchup and therefore fantastic. You can play this matchup on any land map. I'm saying land map, and it's completely fine. And some water maps are very, very equal as well here in this matchup. So I'm excited to see what Mr. Boat's going to come up with here, and I'm excited to see what strategies Eric is going to be trying to implement here. So far in this tournament, we've seen Zeus players bringing back Centaur Hoplite. Hoplite Centaur. This is something that we used to see a ton from players such as Ulysses 3 years ago. It fell out of fashion as the Odin players kind of worked out how to play against it, especially the top level Odin players. And then Athena Rush got a significant improvement with faster Athena Rushes coming through and certain styles, certain Athena Rush styles starting to be prominent and starting to get better and better at getting wins against Odin. But there's also just simply going for Centaur as well and not even going for Hoplite behind it. There's so many different options for Zeus in this matchup, and Odin, on the other hand, has only really got one option to play around, play defensively here, play against Zeus. You have to go Freya, and you have to work out whether you're going to be going for raiding cavalry or if you're going to be going for Herser throwing axemen. And then you have to kind of decide, are you going to play a chaotic game where you're trying to pick off your opponent's units or not? As we see Eric here, he's going up through Hermes. Eric is going for Hoplite Centaur, most likely here. You can see he's got the villagers on wood. He's got 3 storehouses here, ladies and gentlemen. 3 storehouses with 9 villagers on the wood. This is something we don't see all too often. And he's also sitting in his base eating caribou. He's not moving out into the middle of the map here, eating everything he can first before moving out, trying to make sure that he has no real weaknesses early. He's also left this Auroch here to eat later. Some interesting decisions thus far. As the Valkyrie comes out, it's really, really important for Odin to get this Valkyrie bolted. You want to make sure that it is doing a good job at harassment and all the other good stuff that comes with that. Why? Because your main aim here against the Centaur or even against Athena is to start getting yourself out Frost Giant. And if your Frost Giant get bolted, then life gets a little bit harder. As we see Eric over here, he is going to be getting himself Sylvan Law out of the temple here. And the Ravens here get shot down immediately. I like that play from Eric, utilizing the centaur to clean those up nice and fast to kind of get rid of the map hacks of Odin here as well. As Mr. Boat comes through, he's got his Valkyrie. We see the villagers immediately getting pulled off of that forest there. As Jason and Odysseus coming in, Eric knows very well that he does not want to actually bolt this Valkyrie. If he can help it, he doesn't want to bolt it. As the Valkyrie going to be retreating back here. And maybe Eric, Mr. Boat not paying attention. He might actually lose the Valkyrie here. In fact, he does lose the Valkyrie. This is huge for Eric moving forward as the centaur starting to move across the map here. Looking for some raids. We do see some walls coming up. The walls aren't quite up just yet. Eric cannot make his way into the base of Mr. Boat here from that angle. But no bolt being used on the Valkyrie is huge for Eric moving forward. It means he can use a bolt on the free Frost Giant that he will definitely have to deal with here. As we'll see how things are going to get going here. As Mr. Boat, he needs to get some more walls down if he wants to make sure he's going to be fine against these centaurs. Eric going to be swinging around with the centaur, and I like this play from Mr. Boat. He's just sitting back, making raiding cavalry here, and he's currently he's just in his base, happily eating these aurochs. He's got his units kind of a little bit sitting idle here as the Hersa gets unfortunately stuck there. And the centaur moving in onto this position. One villager looks like it will be going down as the centaur has to be pulled back. It's completely natural to lose a handful of villagers against the centaur here, as the Odin doesn't really matter that much. Obviously, not losing villagers is perfect. It's what you want, but very natural to lose a handful of villagers here as the centaur have to retreat back. Units here for Eric trying to break down this wall here to give another angle of attack here. Eric getting himself out. Another centaur after all is said and done. Military Academy going to be coming down as well for Eric after this. It seems a little bit late on the building there, but it looks like Eric has been spending his resources nicely. So, he's going for a town center. Okay, so a decently fast second town center behind all of this. This is something we saw a little bit from, who was it? From Brickhead. From Brickhead, he went for the fast town center against the Odin, against the defensive Odin here. As we do see the heroes, they're going to get taken out over here. The Hersa with 3 HP gets to live another day here as... will he get picked off? As he does get picked off as the centaur get a little bit more damage done onto them as they're going to be retreating back. Thundering hooves coming through for Mr. Boat. This is a really, really important technology for the raiding cavalry. One, it gives the raiding cavalry more HP, but more importantly, against the centaur, it gives them the speed to catch up to them, and they can't run away as easily with 6.6 speed versus 6.5 speed. That's advantage raiding cavalry, so they can actually come in and snipe those units there. As now Mr. Boat finishes up on the hunt there. He's going to be moving onto this location. A little bit risky here at this point, but he will have the raiding cavalry he needs with Thundering Hooves to deal with these centaurs. And not only that, seeing that Eric has gone for 2 town centers, he does need to start thinking about continuing to motor ahead in this game, getting himself sorted, getting himself maybe into the next age. He wouldn't go straight. See what's going to happen here as Eric is... I love this play. I think this is good. I'm not sure if it is a 100% a counter to like the general Odin plan here, but I think that it is a decent try, especially when you've got a ton of hunt here for Zeus. And Zeus doesn't actually need to spam units here either. He can actually try and go 2 town centers and then get to the heroic age himself, so he can get out to Paspist or even Prodromus to deal with the raiding cavalry. As the raiding cavalry now starting to get targeted down, pushing out as we see the Thundering Hooves ready to chase these ones down, but with the hoplites coming in, he won't really be able to take these fights as he does have to retreat back backwards here as the hoplites moving in onto this position here. A couple of thrown axemen are in as well, as Mr. Boat going to be using those to try and deal with the hoplites here. Seeing the villagers on this location as well, Eric is going to be wanting to get some pressure done as the raiding cavalry coming through. We do see the thrown axemen starting to get damage done onto them as the raiding cavalry chasing down the centaurs here on the back here as well. Good micro from Eric, but the units can basically just attack all of them. It doesn't matter how good your micro is if your units are getting overwhelmed in numbers, as he's retreating away trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can, as this centaur getting caught here as the hearse are just about to get in, not able to get onto that one just yet. The thrown axeman getting taken down, but so too are hoplites getting taken down. Good damage done by Eric, but Mr. Boat holds here relatively nicely. The population differential is kind of in favor of Mr. Boat, especially because he's got the resources now to advance to the next ages. He's still building units, he's still building throwing axemen here to try and deal with those hoplites. As the centaur getting lower and lower on the HP, a couple more of those units getting taken out, and Scardy has been clicked up here for Mr. Boat. As he finishes up on this hunt, he can move over into the back corner here to eat the elk. He's on this gold mine. He will have frost available for himself in the future here. And he's done a lot of damage to these centaur, but he's got to be careful not to throw away too many throwing axemen. There is a desperation forest fire. I'm not sure what that one's about. Trying to break open maybe this town center a bit. No, it doesn't make any sense. They tried to potentially snipe a centaur there with his attack there, as the centaur still going to be pushing in, getting damage, pulling back. Eric's economy here coming through. He's getting farms set up nicely around his town centers. Here he's still eating the food over here. Unfortunately, he hasn't moved over into the back corner to get those aurochs there. It's a very, very important thing, as we do see the centaur trying to get closer and closer to the raiding cavalry, as it's nice play from Mr. Boat. He's baiting Eric in a little bit in order to try and get his raiding cavalry to get some damage done. But good spacing here from Eric as Mr. Boat pushing through. Villager differential is only 10 villagers here. It's not that big of a deal, especially when you consider that the Norse economy is so strong. As you see the hill fort getting thrown up there. There's the medium raiders, going to be even harder for those centaur to deal with, as one centaur does get taken down. And Mr. Boat trying to push through. Not only that, the frost giant is out. We have to remember that there is that bolt available to take that one out, as the raiding cavalry try to push through here, trying to get that hill fort up, trying to keep the hoplites back. You really don't want to be using frost onto this location if you can help it, as the frost giant does get seen there. Immediate bolt coming down to snipe that one there as well, as the centaur come through trying to take out the throwing axemen that are in on this position. Meanwhile, the raiding cavalry coming through here trying to surround those centaur. The centaur are going to creep out of here, as it looks like the centaur continuing to try and take out those throwing axemen that are trying to get up this hill fort here. And considering all the heavy hoplites, not heavy hoplites, medium hoplites are here, these medium raiders are just not that good in this situation, as we do see some Ulfsark coming through here to try and get this hill fort up as well. We see the Odysseus now getting targeted down from behind so that the frost giant can get some good damage done, but more units popping through. The hoplites targeting down the Ulfsark as best as they possibly can. The Ulfsark, the hill fort not going to be coming up, and we see Eric grabbing another town center on the front here, as immediately we see ceasefire getting cast to prevent that hill fort from being finished off here. Eric with this forward town center, a very ballsy play here. We'll see if it's going to work out for him or not. It's a big resource investment, whereas his opponent here at this point is he's sitting in the heroic age with, he's about to be able to get out some Huskull. He doesn't need Huskull, he just needs the hill fort. Mostly he just needs some units out here. So this is going to be a big help for Mr. Boat to start getting himself some more units. He's starting to make Ulfsark here, throw an axeman. He's got himself two longhouses, 4 longhouses here, and then the hill fort's coming up. And it still looks like to me Eric is just going 1 military academy and centaur here. So Mr. Boat, in all likelihood here, will be able to hold. We'll see how things are going to go, as the frost giant sees that the town center is not actually going to be getting completed there, as it gets deleted, gets the resources back over to Eric to potentially build a town center back in his main base or something like that, as the unit's pushing forward here to try and deal with this. Eric going to be retreating away. The frost giant does manage to hit one of those centaurs there. Nice play, but the frost giant will be falling, and the hill fort is up. Now Mr. Boat needs to start moving out of his base here. And honestly, Eric here, he just needs to retreat back and be realizing that he's got a good position here. We see the units pushing forward here, though, as Mr. Boat trying to take this fight. Those thrown axemen are going to be doing a lot of damage to the hoplites. The hoplites aren't really on top of the thrown axemen either, as they should be able to deal with the hoplites fairly easily. We'll see how the fight's actually going to go. Mr. Boat's sitting at a solid 105 population. Eric's at 106 population. The production from Eric was a little bit low here. He's thrown up another military academy, and an archery range. So we're starting to get a little bit more production out, but Eric needs to get to the next age here relatively quickly if he wants to continue here in this game, fighting against these units effectively. As Mr. Boat here has to retreat back. The villager differential is quite large here, as Mr. Boat pulling ever so slightly back, trying to deal with those centaur as best as he possibly can. 2 low HP centaur here, 7 HP and 2 HP now, as he does manage to pick off another one. So Eric pulls back, and Eric will be able to advance now to the next stage, but he does not have an armory up. The classic, get to the resource to advance and not have an armory is definitely a difficult situation to be in, but it looks like Eric is fine here. He's going to be able to get to the heroic age. He's not stuck in this game. He's got the farm set up. He's still probably hunting from aurochs and everything on the map, so he's completely fine. We see Mr. Boat attempting here to get himself up a town center as the units pushing through, trying to take out those centaur. Those hoplites here are going to be very, very aggressive here, and Mr. Boat can just turn around and take this fight. He's still going to be able to take these fights decently. Does he have the upgrade for the throwing axeman? No, he does not. Good micro there from Mr. Boat, trying to keep his raiding cavalry alive, distracting those hoplites as best as he possibly can, as the hoplites going to be falling. Eric's population dropping fairly. It's still staying roughly at 125 here, so it's not the worst of fights here for Eric, but we'll see how it's going to be, what's really going to be happening here, as Mr. Boat's still able to fight this one fairly easily. The hoplites taking down the medium raiders as best as they possibly can, but they will be finishing off. It's another frost giant going to be coming in. The more you fight with Zeus against Norse, the more frost giants they have, the harder it is to deal with them, as the army of Eric has to retreat here. Both players get a little bit hurt there, but one frost giant out, and I imagine a second one is on the way. I can't get that third one out, but things are going to start becoming very difficult for Eric's army here until he starts getting his heroes out. He's only got one Jason here with very low HP as well. No Odysseus just yet. Still staying 2 town centers here for Eric. I'd like to see him just throw a market down and rush straight to the mythic age here, if it's possible. As Mr. Boat here gets his town center up, and the question is going to be, now that Mr. Boat has got this town center, how can he get himself back into the game from an economic standpoint, because Eric is so far in front economically right now. As we do see the market is up in the corner here. Centaur going to be searching around for villages. Good awareness there from Mr. Boat to pull back, as the Centaur will be spotting this. Will be picking off a village here as they retreat back over to the hill fort on this position. We do see some Huskars going to be trying to chase those down. Huskar are a good option here to try and chase down the Centaur, though they are a little bit slow. At only 5.0 speed, but they have the crazy amount of armor here. There's some micro coming through from Eric, trying to keep his units alive, trying to deal with this as best as he possibly can. The units here for Mr. Boat coming through. More Huskar swinging around there as well. As Eric here, getting himself a town center. Does he have a market going up anywhere? I don't see the market just yet. So he's not planning, well, he should be planning the mythic age, but I don't see the market just yet. Just distracting with those centaur nicely as the Huskar are going to be chasing them down. I feel like at this point, Eric just needs to say, I don't need centaur anymore. In fact, they're probably a little bit of a waste of population. At 3 population apiece there, 9 population, they're just kind of running around the map, not really going to be able to defend that well. As Mr. Boat going to be pushing forward, Mr. Boat needs to think about how he's going to get this town center up, and I'm sure that Eric is going to be keeping an eye on that, as now Eric clicks up through Hera. This is exactly what he needs, because Lightning Storm plus Medusa is going to be really, really hard to deal with right now for Mr. Boat, because that's going to put a stop to the Frost Giant advantage that Mr. Boat's got, because the Medusa can deal with them, and also the Lightning Storm is going to be able to kill an entire army of Mr. Boat, while Eric is sitting at full population or full economy here. We do see this one lone centaur, enough to stop the town center going up. That was a perfect timing from Eric. He sent that before those throwing axemen went over there. So perfect timing from Eric to stop that town center from going up. As Eric retreats back ever so slightly here. Doxody getting taken down. Villagers doing what they can on this position here. As the heavy archers is going to be coming through for Eric. We'll see how that's going to go as the Huskarl retreating back ever so slightly here. Mr. Boit sits back on this position here, trying to take down as many of these units as he possibly can. Frost Giants pushing forward. As you see, one more Centaur Polemark is going to be meeting his demise there as Hera just about to hit. We see an Underworld onto this position in advance here as he's going to be going after these gold villages as the army has to retreat back. Hera just about to pop here. This timing is really, really good from Eric. Mr. Boit has to know that something's coming because these are still only medium hoplites. There's the lightning storm coming through. Going to be casting that immediately. The units need to make a break for the town center, but they're not going to be doing it there. And the population of Mr. Boit is plummeting here, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't think he's going to be able to hold here any longer. Eric is sitting at a solid 145 population. Mr. Boit drops down to 80 population as more units will be able to come through. There still are a handful of units here for Mr. Boit. He's got a decent amount of resources in the bank, losing the market there. The units over here on this gold mine starting to fall as well. There's no other gold mines on the map really that Mr. Boit can approach as a Medusa does come through. It does go through the underworld passage though, which means that the special ability gets reset as more units pushing through, and Mr. Boit has to tap out here. What a game here from Eric. Clinical Zeus play here on this map from Eric. Absolutely loved that. The Centaur Hoplite gets the second town center really early, knows he's got the map control, knows he can do it, knows that that him getting a second town center means that Mr. Boit can't get his second town center. And he just controls the pace in this game so absurdly well. Mr. Boit's going to have to go back to the drawing board here and work out how he's going to be able to deal with this kind of almost adaptation on the Centaur Hoplite build that was once one thing and now something slightly different. Just these slight little changes here. We'll see what Mr. Boit's going to be able to do, but Eric here starting off strong. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.